Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, we are from 9 group. We want to explain today the chapter is passive form of passive clause. Basic form of passive clause by Febri Maulana, Muhammad Fahri Hafiz and Lilis Arya. The first, the system of voice. A system of voice is one where the term differ as to how the syntactic functions are aligned with semantic rules. Usually, there are also formal differences either associated with the verb. Example, special inflection or auxiliaries are associated with the NPS, special case marking or preposition. The general term active and passive are based on the semantic rule of the subject in clause expressing action. There are also differences associated with the verb, and one of the NPS contains the passive auxiliary verb be, and the second NP is complement of the preposition, by example active voice and passive voice. The first active voice, everyone saw the accident. In passive voice, the accident was seen by everyone. Active voice, his colleagues dislike him. He is disliked by his colleagues. Difference between active and passive clause. Active voice means that a sentence has a subject that acts upon its verb. Passive voice means that a subject is a recipient of a verb action. You may have learned that the passive voice is weak and incorrect, but is not that simple when used correctly and in moderation. The passive voice is fine. The subject of the active everyone appears in the passive as complement of the preposition by in functioning as complement. The direct object of the active appears as subject of the passive. The passive has auxiliary be carrying the tense inflection and taking as complement. A subject is not finite clause with a head seen in past participial form. Voice and information packaging example. The plumber says the dishwasher cannot be repaired, but I don't think that's true. My neighbor came over this morning. She asked me if I'd seen her cat. A dog attacked me in the park. I poked a tie. I was attacked by a dog in the park. A tie was bugged by me. Short passive. In almost all cases, the internalis complement is optional. The passive clause with not internalis complement are called short passive. The ones discussed so far are called long passive. Short passive are actually much more frequent than long passive. They have an important function. They enable you to leave out something that would be obligatory in the active, namely a main clause subject. Active voice. Built the house in 196 and 60. damage your car. Know little about the cause of ELEs. Make mistakes. Physical restriction. Most transitive active clauses have passive counterparts, but not all same. Exceptional verbs are either generally or in curtain use inadmissible in passive. First, the town puts a great bid. A great bid is posted by the town. Max like tag. Tag is liked by Max. Jill has 3 wonderful kids. The wonderful kids are had by Jill. The jug holds their 3 liters. 3 liters are held by the jug. Lexical restriction. Most transitive active clauses have passive counterparts, but not all same exceptional verbs are either generally or in curtain use. Inadmissible in passive. The town puts a great bid. A great bid is posted by the town. Max like tag. Tag is liked by Max. Jill has 3 wonderful kids. 3 wonderful kids are had by Jill. The jug holds 3 liters. 3 liters are held by the jug. Passive of the transitive active. The transitive clause have 2 objects. Usually the passive of a transitive has a subject corresponding to the first one, the indirect object. Example, first, the boss gave me the key. I was given the key by the boss. The boss gave me the key. The key was given me by the boss. The boss gave me the key to me. The key was given to me by boss. Prepositional passive. Active. People are looking into the matter. They took advantage of us. Someone has slept in this bed. And passive. The matter is being took into. We were taken advantage of. This bed has been slept in. In the example, prepositional is stranded. No actual complement follows it, but an understood complement is retrievable from the subject. Clauses of this kind are called prepositional passive. Two subtypes can be distinguished. A. Specified preposition. This type of passive has lexical restriction of its availability. Some verbs or verbal idioms permit the prepositional passive and some don't. Example, we come across some old letters. He lost patience with the children. Some old letters were come across. The children were lost patience with. B. Unspecified preposition. The preposition is not specified. It has its ordinary meaning and in the active can be replaced by other preposition. Get passive. The passive clause considered so far have the auxiliary be. We can call them be passive. There is also a passive with get instead of be. Be is an auxiliary verb, but get isn't in the negative and interrogative. Therefore, get passive requires the dummy auxiliary do. Be passive. Pat was bitten by a snake. They weren't dead until later.
She was elected mayor in 1990. Several shots got heard. Bear passive. Be passive and get passive have be and get as genitive with past participle complement. Past participle clause also occur elsewhere with passive interpretation, and we call this bare passive because they look like the be and get markers. They can be either complements or modifiers. Bare passive is complement in complex native. We had the document checked by a lawyer. You should get yourself vaccinated against meals. She ordered the record destroyed. He saw his son knocked down by bus. Bare passive as modifier. We went a houseboil after 1990. The complement made by her lawyer is being investigated. And the last, adjective passive. Be can be followed by an adjective, and sometimes an adjective is formed from the past participle of a verb. This case must be distinguished from the be passive. We can see this from the ambiguity of example. A. Her leg was broken, and B. They were married. Maybe that's all from me. Dalas Aises, Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.